if I go to a magnifying mirror, I have one right in front of me here, and I get close, it literally looks like I'm wearing nothing. Hi you guys, welcome back to the Clean Beauty Code. I am so excited for this video because we are talking about a new brand. Not in the world, but just for this channel, we are talking about the brand Typology, and I'm really excited. So I ordered a bunch of their products, and by a bunch I mean two, of their products, and I've been trying and testing them out. So they are a French brand that is mainly focused on skincare, but they did come out with 2 complexion products in the past, like maybe 3 years or something like that. They have a skin tint and a concealer, and they also have a lip oil. But today we're focusing on the complexion products, and I'm really excited to get in this video and talk to you about it because I know it's a brand that's very aesthetically pleasing, like bottle wise, and a lot of people had questions on, because of course it's so aesthetically pleasing, you want to put it on your like vanity or whatever, if the products are actually good. So I'm excited to get in this video and try everything on for you guys. Mama needs some help. We are looking tired, drab. We need some help. So if you're excited for this video and more videos like this, then please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this Typology Skin Tint and Typology Concealer review. All right, I brought you in closer. Let's get into this Typology video. So first, we have the skin tint. So I was always really intrigued by this brand because of how beautiful the branding in general is, and the design. This just looks so chic, elevated, but it isn't like trying too hard, and that's what I like about it. The try hard of being chic and elevated sometimes in products, but also just in life, right? It just can seem a little bit over the top. This does not, which I really like. Frosted bottle, dropper, which I was nervous about because a lot of the time when you get foundations, not always, there are some brands that do the dropper really well. A lot of the time when you get foundations and it's like dropper style, sometimes I don't know what it is, if like air gets caught in it or whatever, but it takes so much effort to get the product out, but this one doesn't have that, thankfully. So this is the skin tint, as I mentioned, and I got the shade 4. What I will say is picking a shade, neat. So much work, so much effort, and I still didn't really get it right. I could have gone with the shade below this for right now. I'm not tan at all, and it's been so humid out. I don't really want to be in the sun because no thank you. So I'm not really tan right now, but so this is more of my summer shade. So when I have a trip at like closer to the end of the year, we'll all be more in the sun, and towards the end of the summer I'll be a little bit more tan. This will be a good shade match for me then, but it's definitely not a great shade match for me right now. So again, I got the shade 4. So there were a bunch. I do feel like what I want to say is just a dropper, just so you can see, and this is the shade 4. It's definitely too warm in my opinion for me, but also a little bit too dark. So that's okay because I get a lot more warm when I'm tan, so it'll work for me then. When I actually have a tan and have seen sun, this will work for me then. Now, picking a shade again was really challenging. I do feel like the range could be expanded, especially the darker shades. I feel like there can be a couple more options, but also the lightest shade, I was like, this looks really, it felt like it could go a little bit lighter as well. So I feel like there could be more shades in the middle too, but that's all right. Hopefully they continue to work on the shade range, but this is the shade 4. Now this is definitely going to look crazy on me, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple of pigment drops in it to lighten it up a bit. Now I haven't found a pigment drop that is comparable to the LA Pro one, but I'm going to be doing that one. Did I say LA Pro? LA Girl. I'm going to do a teeny tiny amount of that. And then I also have the blue to make it a little bit more neutral because that's kind of what I need. So what I like to do is I like to take, and this is a pigment, it doesn't change the formula. I do feel like it can be nerve-wracking to be adding, and I just take very little at a time. It can be nerve-wracking to add like a product into something when you're not really sure if it's going to change the formula, but this doesn't change formula at all. So I take a little bit of the colors on the side and just kind of dip as I don't know if dip as I go makes sense, but just kind of add as I go, and that's kind of the best way I find to use this for me personally, because I overthink things. I don't know if you are like me, if you overthink things. That is the vibe. So this is what it looks like now, definitely looking a lot better. So we're going to use that because it's definitely without that, it ends up looking truly insane. And I want you guys to really be able to see what this product looks like. So I'm just using all of what was on the back of my hand and I'm going to apply that all over my face. And do you see that? It's a very, very pretty finish. And if you are the type of person that likes your skincare products or your, not your skincare products, your complexion products to feel like skincare, this is a great product because it definitely gives a very skincare-like feeling, which I really enjoy. Okay, now that we are blended, we definitely have some flyaways happening here, but now that we are blended, what do you think? Again, I added maybe like 2 little pinky full of the white pigment and like 1 pinky of the blue pigment, kind of mixed it together. These are from LA Girl. Again, if you have alternatives, let me know. I have been on the hunt. I haven't been able to find alternatives to these, but these are nice to have. And I'm really hoping to find another alternative to something like this. So let's get into this. So this is the skin tint. Again, I wear the shade 4. This will work really well for me in summer. I used about 2 drops out of the dropper for this. So I used about that much, if you can see, for my whole face. And oh, you can even tell a difference in the shade side by side. That's so funny. Love that. So this is a very much a more light coverage product. I don't really find it to be very buildable, but I like light coverage. But if you are looking for something that is more buildable, I don't really think this is it. You can kind of bring it to light plus, but I do feel like it's very, very natural, very, very skin-like. If I go to a magnifying mirror, I have one right in front of me here, and I get close, it literally looks like I'm wearing nothing, which is wild. But what it does is I do feel like it kind of, weirdly enough, blurs imperfections, and it doesn't highlight any texture or anything. It just kind of glazes over stuff. Now I have a good amount of stuff happening in between here because I'm still having breakouts there. And they're like still very much visible, but they're toned down. And there is dryness there, but it isn't clinging to that dryness, which is really, really nice. And again, it just looks very, very natural. If you are a no makeup, but you want something to kind of perfect a little bit, like kind of just blur it out a little bit and just give you a very natural, pretty, I don't know, this gives a very beautiful finish. But unlike some other more, like, I don't want to say the word oily, but they have a little bit more of a slip oily finish to them. This feels very much more like a water-based, and I do believe that this is silicone free, so that does make a difference of kind of what the feel of the product is. It does still have a slip and a serum-y feel, but it's more of a watery serum-y feel, which I do really enjoy, especially summer, because it's so hot. It's hot, but it's also humid right now, which is, I can't even talk about it. It's like a whole other mess. Humidity is, out of all the options of things that could ruin my day, I would say that like humidity is like at least top 3. But this is great. I really, really enjoy the way that it wears on the skin and looks on the skin. I feel like it just does such a good job of making me look put together without it being too much. I did a video where I talked about my beach proof makeup, or my even like pool proof makeup, whatever, my true, if I'm at the beach, whatever type of makeup look. And this would be one that I would add into that as well, because it just kind of sinks into the skin, and the way that it wears off is really, really interesting. So this product kind of wears off like it, because it is more of a skincare product, it almost just like sinks into the skin, and eventually just, it doesn't look patchy or anything. It just maybe fades a little bit towards the end of the day, but not in a way where it's noticeable. It's very, very interesting, this formula. And I find the fact that I feel like here specifically, even here, it does give me some blurring qualities, and I am very impressed. Now, what I will say about this product is picking a shade. I don't know if I said that before, but like, it was so hard. And even looking at the people that they said, oh, this shade would work for their complexion. Then when I got this shade, I was like, are you sure? Because no, it wouldn't. But sometimes lighting too in photography is tough, so I'm chalking it up to lighting. But I really struggle picking a shade, and I am glad I got this shade because it's going to be my summer shade, and this is more of a summer product for me. I really enjoy this. The product, I believe, is $40, which is very expensive. When it first came out, I remember like stocking this when it first came out. I believe it was like $25. It has gone up significantly since then, and I don't know if it's going to continue to go up. So okay, if you're interested in this and you already feel like this is very expensive, which it is, I would definitely get it sooner rather than later, because I don't know if they're going to hike the price up. I really, really enjoyed this product. I think that if you are a no makeup person, or you want a good product for the beach, pool, or even every day, honestly, or even nights out where you just want a little something, a touch of a security blanket, but you want, when someone gets close to your face, for them not to be like, oh, honey, of makeup, this is this is the product for sure to try out. And I just hope they expand their shade range, because I just think, I know that skin tints, because they're tints, it's a little bit more flexible, but I do think with the undertones, the flexibility, I don't know, I feel like there needs to be a little bit more of an expansion. I'm not saying like a ton, but a couple more options. But I really, really enjoy this product, and I would love to know down below, have you tried it? If you have, what are your thoughts? If you haven't, do you feel like the price hike? If you haven't, do you think that you will? Let me know down below, because I would love to know. I'm very intrigued by this brand, and I can't wait to see what else they come out with, because so far, at least with this product, I've been really impressed. So next let's talk about concealer. So I got the shade medium 3 because I thought, oh, medium 4 is a little dark, so if I get medium 3, it'll be a decent match for me. Now let's talk about it. So this is like a squeegee kind of thing. I'm not even touching it right now. I don't know if you're new to this channel. I don't like packaging like this. It just drives me bananas. Like, why are you... Because, like, if there's any pressure at all, like, that's already there, like, be your fingertips touch or whatever, it automatically, when you open, like, product comes out. So this is the shade medium 3. I'm going to put it on the back of my hand for you. This is a very interesting product. This is definitely more of a light coverage. If you are not a light coverage girly, she might not be for you. What I do like to do with this product is I do like to kind of warm it up before I apply it to my face, and apply it to my face, and I'm going to apply it to my under eyes. And I'm just going to do one little dot for you first, and you can see this is true, like, my complexion match, like true to my, I could wear this all over my face essentially, because it's a very good complexion match shade. It's not quite what I would wear for a brightening shade under my eyes, but I can always, again, use a little bit of the pigment to brighten it up. And I'm going to just, I took, again, just a little bit on my finger and applied it, and I'm gonna just blend it out with my finger. So this is the shade 3 blended out on my under eye. Over here is very much a non-brightening shade, which is not always my preference. Actually, it's rarely my preference, because I feel like my under eyes are so dark, it needs a little bit of brightening. But I wanted you guys to see just the shade alone, because it does work, right? It's just not brightening, and I would prefer to have something a little bit more brightening under my eyes. But if I wanted to, I could add a little bit of pigment to my under eyes, but there's nothing wrong with it. Now that both sides are blended, what do you guys think of the look, the shade, the finish? This is a very, very natural finish, which I love. I prefer more naturally finish. I don't love matte under my eyes, so natural to dewy. Sometimes dewy can be too much, but I do love a natural finish under the eyes. And if you get close to a mirror, this is a magnifying mirror, it looks like there's nothing there. I don't know how to explain it. It like disappears. It's wild. If you're a no makeup person, this is like crazy because it literally doesn't look like I'm wearing anything under my eyes, which is wild. Now, I do find that I like to set this one because as I'm getting older, which is who likes to age, but I'm 32. I have noticed that I do have more creasing under my eyes, and settling into fine lines is really what it is. I do like to set with a little bit of powder. I'm going to go with the Westman Atelier one just because it's in hand here. This is their translucent shade, and I'm going to just set so we don't get any creasing. And this powder is great because although it does mattify, my natural oils will kind of give in so that there isn't too much mattness, and it kind of just mattifies it all up but keeps it in place, which is really, really nice. I do really like to set this with a light powder, and I do feel like it works really, really well. If I don't want to set it, let's say I might put it on my hand, like mush it out and then let it sit for like a minute and then apply it. There's significantly less creasing that way, but it's natural for your under eyes to crease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do the rest of my makeup real quick, and we're going to do final thoughts and if I think it's worth the money and all that jazz. So let's get into the rest of the makeup. All right, makeup is on. Let's get into this Typology makeup review and kind of break down in all the stuff I feel like I forgot to say. So let's talk about the skin tint first. So again, this is their skin tint. I got the shade 4. I felt like it was definitely too warm and a little bit too dark for me right now, but this is going to be a good shade for me later in the year. When I'm actually later in the year, I mean like more into summer and when I go go on a trip towards the end of the year. But this is a great product. It feels like nothing on the skin, looks like nothing on the skin. Super, it feels like water, really, the base of it. It feels like when you're applying it, it feels more watery than other serum foundations that I've used. I do feel like it gives me a little bit of blurring. It definitely makes me, it's like a no makeup product, but it does perfect in some ways. Now, right here, I have some redness and some breakouts. It's not clinging to those breakouts, but it did just kind of like buff over them, but it didn't, you can still see the redness. If you were up close, you would, oh, there we go. You can see, hold on, let's get really close. There we go. You can still see the redness, but what it does is it almost like, if you saw it before, I should have done it up close before, it definitely like smooths over it and almost like does a light kind of tone down of it. But around here, I feel like it does blur. I feel like it gives me a really nice perfected base. It is expensive. I believe it's $40 or $41. And again, like I mentioned, it used to be $25 and it's gone up in price significantly. And I don't know if it's because they realized how good this product is and how much people were liking it, so they increased it, or just, you know, prices of the ingredients and stuff went up. But this is a very, very nice product, and if you're a no makeup girl, this is it. It also doesn't make you look like an oil sleek like in the T-zone. I mean, I didn't powder. Oh my gosh, I have so many. Can I get it together? I didn't powder the middle of my face. I have combo skin, and right here is usually a slip and slide. You know what I'm saying? Like usually a slip and slide of oil, but we don't have that today right now, at least, and we're in studio lights and it's hot in here. And this is not doing up or anything, which is great. I really enjoy this product. Like the way it wears off is really, really interesting because it's like a lot of serum products. They kind of just, especially like skincare-y style serum products, they really just like sinks into the skin, and if it disappears, it just kind of disappears without it being embarrassing. It's like, why do you have to embarrass me by being patchy and like breaking apart? I don't find that this does that, which is great. I really, really enjoy this, and I do find that this is definitely, in my opinion, worth the money. It is definitely expensive, but I do feel like if you are the type of person that likes products like this, you will really enjoy this. Now let's talk about the concealer. So this is the concealer. Again, I'm wearing the shade 3, but I would get the shade 2 next time if I were to get this again. This is a product that has slip to it. And I will say the one thing about this is I can't stand is the packaging, but you know, you can't win them all, I guess. But this packaging is not ideal in my opinion, but I can look back past packaging flaws if the product is good. It has, I don't know if you've ever used the, what's it called? The Hint Beauty concealer, the one in the pot. This reminds me of that because I know that's full coverage and like in the texture, but this is lighter. This is like a lighter texture version of that, which is really interesting. This does settle in fine lines at times for me if I don't set it, or if I don't let it sit for a couple minutes and then apply it to my under eyes. And by a couple minutes, I mean like a minute. Let it sit, kind of marinate, get a little bit thicker, dry down slightly, and then apply it. Then I don't really have to worry about creasing. But my go-to right now, because I feel like my under eyes are dehydrated, screaming, crying, throwing up, like drink more water, do something to help us kind of vibes right now. I've always been currently setting my under eyes just to avoid any creasing, but also if I'm wearing mascara, especially if I'm testing mascara, which I am currently testing some mascaras, I always like to, for a portion of that testing, set under my eyes to see if that makes a difference with running or whatever. So if you have a mascara that's running a ton for you, sometimes the difference really is setting your under eyes with powder, even if you're not wearing a concealer. I do find that that does make a difference, and it like absorbs the oils and whatever that's kind of making the mascara run. I do really enjoy this product. It is light coverage. I don't like this product for all over the skin, all over the face. This like slips away when you put it on your face. This is like for me a strictly under the eye product. Like I cannot use it on my face, and so for that reason, like the fact that I feel like it just slips and it doesn't layer well, it's not my favorite concealer, but I really like this concealer, if that makes sense. It's just like a few things. Like I don't feel like I can build it up as much. Like you really have to work quickly if you're going to build it up. And because it slips, because it does have more slip to it, at least in my opinion it does, and how it works kind of on my skin, I feel like this isn't great for all over the face. It's good for under the eyes. I do want to set it, and because of that slip, I do want to set it with a powder. In my opinion, that's just like the way to go. When in doubt, set your under eyes with powder. But this is a great product. Not my favorite concealer, but it's great. If I had to pick one of these two, it's definitely would go with the skin tint over the concealer, but I do think the concealer would definitely be a favorite of someone who likes a true no makeup look, because it literally looks like nothing on the skin. It's like disappeared, but covered. Disappear, but provided coverage, provided what you need to look a little bit more awake under the eyes. But again, this is more of a light coverage product. And yeah, that's it for this video. That is it for my Typology makeup review. I would love to know your thoughts down below. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.